So welcome again, Paul. So lovely to have you join me again. So this is sort of part two that we are talking a bit about going live, streaming, audio production, all those different lovely things that many of us have had to do while in lockdown. And of course, this is going to stretch on beyond what we're dealing with, isn't it? You know.
I think you're right. And Linda, thanks for having me back. It's a pleasure to be on again so soon as well. So yeah, really, really good to be here. And yeah, the live thing, going live, you and I are both in a challenge, aren't we, to go live every day in April. And I did the August one last year and the April one previous to that.
Yeah,
and so, you know, we're given challenges to kind of explore ourselves, really. It's not all about the tech. You know, you can go live with your phone, and believe it or not, I'm using my phone here today to talk to you. So it's quite easy. Just get it on a tripod, nice and easy. You can literally go live at the drop of a hat, and you're talking to your audience. And that's the beauty of live streaming, is that you can reach so many more people these days just by going live. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the intrigue really with live? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think when you do go live on your own platform and to your own show, or whatever it might be, once you've built that rapport and built that audience that keep coming back time after time, it's the buzz you get and the interaction you get from that audience. So, you know, you start to receive people in the chat, and they ask you questions, and then you can refer to that. But the kind of unwritten rule, if you will, in live streaming is that you should try not to get distracted by that chat, but also don't forget to acknowledge that chat. Because don't forget, Linda, they've shown up to you for a reason. They've shown up to you because they want to engage with you. They want to find out more about what your content is all about. Particularly with the, you know, Strictly Healthy show and whatever else you might be doing online. So they're there for a reason, and you want to make sure that they appreciate you taking the time to acknowledge their message. Do you see what I'm getting at? So
yes,
it's very important not to get distracted by it, so that it takes you off a tangent to what your content's going to be. But equally, you need to devote some time during the show in order to acknowledge some of those messages. I personally get very distracted. Yeah. So when I'm doing a demonstration about audio production, if I'm showing people my desk, for instance, which is, if I just pick that up very gently and move you over there, this kind of, when I'm demonstrating something on here, on screen, I have a separate camera. If I'm doing that, then I very often get distracted by the messages, you know, and it's so easy to then lose focus about what you're trying to tell people.
Well, and let me pick your brains a little bit and just delve into some of that a little bit. What system are you using to go live? What software are you using to go live? Well, that's one question.
Until my PC crashed this morning, I'm using Vmix, which is PC based only. Okay, if you're using a MacBook or a MacBook Pro or a Mac or an iMac, whatever you call it, then you could use StreamYard like you're using yourself. You could use Ecamm Live, which is purely for the Mac. So there are these two things that you could use. But you know what? If you haven't got any of that and you don't want to pay the subscription, you simply go live with your phone and you're away. You know, they don't need any of the fancy graphics or anything like that you and I have. So you can just literally go live with your phone. Into your platform.
Now, I'm just trying to get back to the Vmax. Now I use StreamYard as Vmix. Sorry. Yeah. I use StreamYard, as you say, and I for some reason cannot see people's comments coming through the stream. And I'm not sure, you know, I'm going into Facebook and YouTube, but I can't see any comments there. Yeah. Are you able to see comments in Vmix?
Yes, because it comes with a bit of software called Vmix Social. And you link you link that piece of software with your platform. So you link it with YouTube, in my case, or you link it with your Facebook channel, or you link it with Twitch, or whatever it might be that you're going live on, right? And then once you've done that, there's a way of getting those messages into your production so that they come up on the screen. It's not majorly important, because what you can do instead, Linda, is if you can see the comments on your Facebook page as they're coming up live, so you watch it on something else perhaps in the background with the sound down, right? That's what I do. So I have a tablet, for instance, and I'll have that open on my channel that I'm going live on, right? But I'll have the sound right down and just have it to the side of me so I can view those comments and then just talk about them on the stream. You don't need to show them on the screen. That's a nice flashy thing to have, but it's not essential. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really want to show it on the screen, but I was just thinking, how can I get it so that I can see the messages? Because at the moment, I've tried all the various aspects that they have with StreamYard, and I just can't seem to see it. So I think I'd be moving over to Vmix pretty soon. But it's a bit of a learning curve, isn't it, with Vmix?
It is, but I love it, and if you need any help, I'm happy to show you around it. It's one of those beautiful things that when it works really well. I can't do anything on my PC this morning because it crashed and I can't reboot it, and I'm speaking to my tech guys to find out what the heck's going wrong. But
yes, you gotta love technology. You
gotta love technology. It really will bite you once you try and do something professional. It'll come and bite you for sure. It may well be updates that have gone wrong, or something as simple as that perhaps. But yeah, I hope to get to the bottom of it, because I need that. I can't work without it, to be fair. It's what I do.
Yes, indeed. Yes. So okay, so you mentioned Lida earlier on in the beginning. Let's explain that a little bit more, and tell us how it's helping you, and how do you think it will help you with your business, etc.
Sure. Yeah. Lida it stands for Live Every Day in April. LEDA. Live Every Day in April. Okay. They do the same thing in August, and it's run by a company called Live Streaming Pros. And they're in America, but of course they have a worldwide audience, and that's obviously why I joined last April. And they teach people how to go live, like you and I do. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether it's using StreamYard or whether it's just using your phone, and there's the 3 tiers. 4 tiers if you include top end. So the first tier is using your phone to go live. Okay. The second tier is using browser-based software like you do with the StreamYard.
Yeah.
Okay. Third tier is Vmix or Ecamm.
Yeah. And
the fourth tier is Pro. Pro Studio, Pro Lighting, Pro Camera, Pro everything, and everything works, right? Yeah. So those are the 4 tiers that they talk about. But they have training programs that you can join, and obviously there's a fee involved, of course, which will teach you either the basics, the intermediate, or the more advanced stuff. And it's such a great program. I can't begin to explain.
Which did you do? Did you do the advanced, or which one have you started from the beginning, or how? Yeah, because you're not exactly a beginner on this.
Well, no, but I had to be to start with. Before April of last year, I'd not gone live once, Linda. It was the first ever time I'd gone live. Is last April when I did the Leader Challenge, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And back then it
were
was
you
more
recording then? You were recording?
No, I very little. Honestly, very little. If you go back over my YouTube channel, it's 9 years old, but I didn't do anything for at least 7 of those years. It's only recently that I've started to step that up.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're using this system, and how is it working for you then? How is it helping you?
Well, I'm in what they call the Streamer Accelerator program. So I'm learning how to use the talent I already have to go live in order to advance and to build my business. And that's the point, is that I'm using it eventually to be able to build my business, a little further than it currently is. So, you can use it as an upsell. You can use it for product launches. You can use it for and we talked about this last time. I think we touched on a thing called life streaming, with an F. So life instead of live. And that really is just using your phone and going live from wherever you happen to be, out in the street, doing something in the garden perhaps, or, doing it at a conference hall or something like that, perhaps when we're allowed to again, of course.
Sure.
So yeah, live streams are very different from live streams. So this will be a live stream because it's going out live and it's to an audience. And you're sat in a studio, clearly, because it looks really good. And you're interviewing somebody. So it's an interview style live stream. That's what your show is about.
Right.
Mine is more of a show and tell. It's more of a how-to. So I'm showing people how to operate the equipment, how to do software with regards to audio production. But live streams, I'm looking forward to the 30th of April because this will all be changed because I'm moving to a new studio, or moving to a new flat, I should say. This is a 3-bedroom house, but I'm moving to a new flat, and I'm going to be documenting my journey, if you will, with my audience. So that will be a live, So that will be a live stream. So on the 30th, I intend to go live from the estate agents once I've transferred the money, obviously, right, for the deposit.
Of course.
So once that's done and they've given me the green light, I will go live on my phone, the phone I'm using now, right?
Yeah.
And bring my audience along on that journey, because I know for a fact that in the town I'm moving to, it's got a really good 4G signal, so it's going to be a really good strong stream. All right. So we'll go to the estate agents, we'll literally pick the keys up. I've got a friend of mine coming with me, he's going to hold the camera, so he'll be filming me doing this, right? And then go to the flat, open the door for the first time, show the audience around the whole of the flat, point out where things are going to go, and then end the stream. And then go back home. I'm not actually moving in on that day. I'm just picking the keys up. So.
Oh right, yeah. So are you going to show the rebuilding of your studio as well? Because you told me you're going to sort of rebuild it in a section of your living room.
Yeah, a lot of people are interested in that, and it's really about, for me, it's about engagement. So they're going to be really engaged about watching me put everything together. Taking these shelves down is going to be a nightmare because these are kind of individual shelves with CDs on and stuff. So they'll all have to be wrapped. Rather than taking every single CD off, last time what we did was wrap it in black plastic and take it as a whole shelf.
What, the whole thing from top to bottom is a shelf, and each section is a shelf?
There's 6 shelves, 6 next to each other. So 6 individual 6-foot shelves. And they're really heavy.
Move it as a 6-foot shelf, each section. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, that sounds a little bit tricky, actually, to be honest.
Yeah. So there's that. There's also, I do voiceover work. So I've got a voiceover booth behind the shelves. That's going to be dismantled this Saturday. And then the desk that's in front of me that I showed you just briefly just now, that's all coming down and will be taken apart and reassembled at the other end. So it's all portable. It's not like I'm ripping anything off the walls, but it's going to be quite a big task just to move the tech. Yeah. And
it'll take a few days and weeks. I mean, we have stuff in our garage still needs unpacking, and we've been here 7 years.
But that's often the case, isn't it? If you don't actually use it straight away, you're right, it's going to go into storage. But the fact that I use this on a daily basis when the computer works, obviously, means that I'm going to have to be really quick in setting it back up so I can use it again. Yeah.
So what else can you tell us though about audio production to do a good job with audio production, whether it's your speaker, your camera, the setup that you use? Any gems you want to share with us?
Yeah. So, and I think we did touch on this briefly last time. People will watch they'll watch a bad video if the audio is spot on, right?
Yes.
But they're not going to watch a good video if the audio is poor. So audio is a very big part of what you do going live every single time.
Yes.
Because if the tech fails on the camera, at least they can still hear your voice. And generally, unless you're showing somebody something, your voice is the most important thing, because you're giving information.
Yeah, I discussed with you how I have a little bit of a lag with my audio. And I mean, I've plugged into the Ethernet. I've, directly into the Ethernet and various things. Is there any suggestions that you could offer in terms of how to make the audio a little bit better?
Well, your audio is fine as far as I can tell currently.
Okay, good.
So you have no worries there at all. It just so happens that it's slightly behind the video image, okay? And that's generally down to the speed of your internet. The higher upload speed you have, the better your stream is going to be, okay? Mine here is rubbish. It's less than 5 megabits per second upload. And so when I go live, I'm sending a signal for about 2.5 bits per second, whatever they call it, megabits per second, which is not really strong enough for a good stream. You need about 5 to 10 megabits per second upload if you can. But that depends on where you live, how close you are from the green cabinet in the road that supplies your internet, or if you're on cable or fiber to the premises, and that's the fastest you can get. In this country we have things like Virgin Media is the fastest you can get, because
we've got that. This is
you do.
We have that. We have it in our. We just got it installed. So I am absolutely baffled as to why I'm still having a lag. So it could be my computer. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, possibly. It depends how old your computer is, of course, and if the video card inside it is a lower model, let's say, then that might be the issue. But it's worth getting somebody to check it out for you, and to give you a proper opinion about what it is you've got built into the computer. Are you using computer or laptop?
I'm using a laptop.
Laptop.
But it's a new one as well. So fancy new one, big price. So I'm not sure why, but I think I will follow your advice and get a tech guy on it and see if I can work out what the issue is.
It's worth getting somebody that knows what they're doing to take a look at your computer and your specs of your computer and say, look, okay, this is what I do on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or whatever it might be. I'm going to need a good video card because I want it to catch up with the audio that I'm doing, and just tell him about the lag that you've got and say, look, what do you recommend? And he might say, is it Mac or Windows based?
Windows.
Windows. Okay, cool. So he might say you might need a better graphics card, in which case they can probably supply one that plugs into the laptop that replaces your current video card. And that will give you extra buffering, so it's not going to lag quite so much that it might do currently.
Yes, that might be the issue, but still don't get why. Because it shouldn't be the case since I have a new laptop. So, very strange. But
you could spend £700,000-800,000, whatever it might be, on a new laptop, but it might not have the right gear inside it for you to do what you want to do. It might have been fine to do word processing with, or streaming videos on, or whatever it might be, but don't forget the very nature of going live is quite CPU heavy. It's quite heavy on your computer. It's taxing on your computer. Therefore, the more bandwidth you can give it with regards to video card and a decent audio card and all that kind of thing, sorry about that, that will assist you no end with regards to putting out a good stream that's not lagging in any way. And you're only like a millisecond or so behind. It's not like it's 2 or 3 seconds later,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's given me more confidence now, and I really appreciate this information because it's very helpful. Sometimes you're not sure what you should be doing.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if it helps your audience as well, if they're looking at doing things to, because don't forget, all of us are looking at different ways to reach our audience and to reach people that we want to speak to. And very often, especially recently, live streaming or doing live video, whatever it might be, has come to the fore. There's been a lot of tech companies ran out of sound cards. They ran out of webcams. They ran out of all sorts of things that people were looking for, because everybody wanted to go live. It was the thing to do, because we weren't allowed to go out, we weren't allowed to mix at work, we weren't allowed to do this, that, and the other. So it's had a growth spurt in the last 8 to 9 months, maybe more, where people have jumped on.
And speaking of going live, people like me have, and many people I'm sure can relate to this, have been shy about going on camera and whatever. I know I resisted it for the longest time. But now, since in lockdown, it's like we had to do meetings on camera, and then you felt a bit stupid not showing your face because everybody else was showing their face,
Right.
And this seems to be the way how we're going now. So just about all meetings now seem to be done with the cameras on. And people that were shy or whatever, amazingly have their cameras on. So that seems to be, even if we come out of lockdown, I think this is going to be the way, or some kind of hybrid anyway, of live meetings and these online ones. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. And you and I both met at the Mid Devon Network, which is a local networking program near to us. And we had our live Zoom call yesterday morning, 9 a.m. And
I missed that. Goodness.
No, and everybody but I think two people didn't have their camera on, but everybody else did.
Okay.
And it was well attended. There were over 15 people there, so it was well attended. But like I say, two people decided not to have their picture on camera, which is fine. But you can't beat that face-to-face thing. You can see the reaction of someone, whether they're smiling, whether they're bored, whether they just sneezed off camera, whatever it might be, whatever it is they're doing. You can see that and you can react accordingly, right? But if you can't see,
and that's just a milli expression or a micro expression, really, that you see from somebody, and it tells a lot.
That's right, exactly right. And business networking, as you know, a lot of it is about face-to-face. Doing business with people is a lot about face-to-face. And of course, because we can't right now, the next best thing is video call to video call, right?
Yes,
so
indeed.
With that in mind, you're able to see the reaction of that person. So if it's a sale you're doing, for instance, if you're selling something, then you want to be able to see their reaction. If you give them a price for their product or your service, you want to be able to see their reaction to that. You don't want to be waiting for the email going, yeah, okay, I'll go ahead, or I won't go ahead because of this, this, and this, So,
indeed.
video, I think we'll find it a normal thing to do. Once we're allowed, even after once we're allowed to mix a lot more than we currently are.
Yes. Well, speaking of micro expressions as well, if you can join me next week, because I have a lady on who is talking about body language and micro expressions and how it will help you with your business sales, etc. So this kind of dovetails nicely into that, that she will be talking to us about. So if you can, join us next week, that'd be great. Yeah. So anyway, Paul, what do you think of, what the future lies in terms of video and audio and any things that we should make sure we have in place and ready, or, a sort of ahead of the curve? Any ideas on that? Sure.
I think you touched on it just now with regards to your provider. Get yourself, make sure you've got a decent internet connection. That's a priority. If you're going to do anything live, you need that. And I'm pleased to say that the place I'm moving to has got Virgin Media. So I'm going to, as soon as I get there, I'm signing up for that because, it's very important to me to have that upload speed, because not only for the going live, but because I'm sending large audio files over the internet, I want it to be done fairly quickly. I don't want to have to wait an hour for, a 50 megabyte file to upload. So that's important. Secondly, you know, if you're on a tight budget, you don't need the fancy camera, you don't need the fancy speakers, the fancy sound card. You can just go live with your phone, as I mentioned before. Okay, so that's good. But if you are going to step up, then the first level is going to be software based, like yourselves, with regards to StreamYard. And if you're on a Mac, I think you can use Ecamm Studio, which is a software based program.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to step up a little further, then get yourself a DSLR camera. So what they call a mirrorless camera. I use the Sony A5100 as my camera of choice.
Sony
A5100. It's now discontinued, but the next one up is the 6100. This is my camera just here.
Oh,
and
that
mounted.
Looks pretty intense. Yeah.
Well, it's just a camera, you know. It's just, people don't forget that these cameras were used for taking pictures with, not for doing video with back in the day, right? It's only nowadays where people are starting to use them more for doing live streaming, and it's got a dummy battery put in it. So otherwise you're going to run out of battery power within half an hour. Okay, so you need a dummy battery, which is, if I just flick it out a second and then bring it over here so I can show you. So it looks the same as a battery, but it's plugged into the mains. It's got a mains adapter attached to it, so it's always on. So it always gives the camera power.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Look at that. Still got the protective
the film
thing on it. I can't believe I'm not taking that off. I normally do.
We don't always realize it, do we?
No. So that's a dummy battery that you would use on a DSLR camera like that, and you know, do some research to find out which one you need for your particular model camera. But that will mean you can stream for longer without worrying about battery life. You know, I've got a couple of standby batteries here. If I want to go out on the road and take footage with, charges via USB. Couple of sticks there. These are batteries that go into the camera.
Okay. Oh yeah.
They're just in there to charge up, all right? But I don't use it, so they're just there as a spare. But you know, and we talked about microphones. So this is the microphone that I would generally use on my live streams. It's not plugged in, so I can move it around and it won't make any noises. And this is what we call an XLR microphone. You can get USB microphones that plug straight into your computer, but this happens to be an XLR microphone, and the name XLR is just the name for the plug that goes into it, which is a 3-pin.
Oh right, yeah.
Audio
but
plug,
that has to go into your computer somewhere.
That goes into the interface, the audio interface, not into the computer, not directly.
Oh.
Okay.
Sounds a little high tech for me.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, and you know that we could talk all day about it. Well, I certainly could anyway. But XLR microphones are going to need an audio interface to plug into before it gets to your computer. Generally, your audio interface is your link between the microphone and your computer. Okay, they start from this size, a little box with inputs and outputs on it. Okay, and go up to ridiculous size like that.
So that's the interface then.
That's my audio interface, but mine's fancy because it's a 32-channel digital audio mixing desk, but it doubles up as my audio sound card. Okay. Other sound cards you can get for your computer this size, believe it or not, and look how small that is, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that goes into your computer via USB. And it's got a headphone socket and a microphone socket, so you can plug a mini jack microphone into that camera.
Oh yes.
Properly, but
yeah.
Just there. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I can. So just about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very faint. It's getting the shine off the lights. So so my apologies, but it's tiny, but it gives a good sound, and it's made by Creative, and it's called a Sound Blaster. See that?
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask you to just send me that information or the link, but you've just told me what it was. Sound Blaster.
Sound Blaster by Creative. That's the company that make it. All right.
Yeah.
And that's a tiny little sound card that I use for my laptop. And it's better than the audio sound card that's built into my laptop.
Right. Yeah.
It's better quality. All right.
Okay.
But you won't be able to plug a USB microphone into that. It's just a tiny little mini jack in the top of there.
Microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, like that size. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
yeah. And what are your thoughts on teleprompters? Or you don't bother with that?
no, because I go off on such a tangent. I couldn't really focus on moving that text along at the same time as I'm trying to demonstrate something, you know?
Well,
so,
they do have automatic ones, I suppose.
Well, they do, yeah, but I've never used one, and it would petrify me because I don't like remembering lines at the best of times. So to see something on screen, I would get distracted by that, and I would lose focus on what I'm trying to do as regards demonstrating the audio side of things. So I tend to steer away from auto cues or prompts, teleprompters, that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm guessing you are looking at that as a possibility, are you?
Well, I am, but I think only for the initial stages, you know, and then, you know, if I think it's useful though for if you're doing training or something and not to forget certain points. But I agree with you that it could be quite distracting, you know, and trying to make sure that you'd only use it, I think, if you had two people, like somebody operating and helping you with the production of things, you know, because then they could operate that for you. But
well, that's a luxury. That's a luxury we don't have, isn't it? But if you had a producer, then for sure they could operate that and then move it along according to how quickly you're reading, right? But you're right. There are also teleprompters available that pick up the sound of your voice and know where you are on the script, so they can then move it on. Which I find fascinating. I find it fascinating, but I've never used one, so I couldn't tell you how they work.
That's okay, Paul. You've helped me with lots of great tips here today, and I'm sure that the audience would appreciate that for those who are just starting out, just trying to work out what they ought to be doing. So again, I want to thank you, Paul, for your fascinating tips and for being a gracious guest again. So
most welcome, Linda, and the best of luck with your endeavors, and see you on the challenge for leader. If people want to know more about that, by the way, if they want to get involved in live streaming as a hobby or even for their business, then get them to visit livestreamingpros.com. It's a bit too late to join the challenge now, but there's another one coming in August that they can jump on.
August. Yes, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'm finding it a challenge as it is, because I like talking to people and listening and hearing what people have to say. But to talk to a camera for more than 2 minutes, I have great difficulty with that. So Well,
I think as you go through the challenge, you'll find that more and more people will jump onto your streams, and you'll be able to follow the chat. So that will enable you to have more interaction with the audience. But don't let it distract you from the task in hand. That's what I'll say as a professional tip.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks a lot again, Paul, and we'll catch you at some point somewhere in the circuit.
You're very welcome. Take care, Linda.
Take care now. Bye for now.
Bye.